Watching all these ICE videos come out, you gain a new respect and appreciation for everyday police officers because they actually behave with so much restraint. You got to check in with the ICE agents who are swarming Minnesota as part of immigration enforcement and raids. And already it's leading to some unfortunate interactions across the spectrum, right? Because you have examples of rioters and protesters assaulting law enforcement, disrupting law enforcement. They should be arrested. You can't do that. But then you also have a number of concerning examples from ICE themselves, including this one viral video where they appear to brutalize a protesting furry. Yes, that is a real sentence. ICE brutalized a furry on camera, and this is where we're at as a country. This is fine. The photojournalist Madison Stewart caught this on camera, and she wrote, outside of the Bishop Henry Whipple building in Minneapolis, a person dancing in a fox costume is arrested by the MPD. Protests have been consistent outside of this building since the ramped up ICE presence. I will say before I show you the video that it's a little unclear to me. She may have miswritten that this was the MPD, or the Minneapolis Police Department, because the uniforms these people are wearing say DHS, Department of Homeland Security. So not totally sure on that one. I believe they are DHS officers. Let's watch. Not taking the furry down. No, excuse me, you got to get out of the street. No, you're under arrest. Put your hands behind your back. They just run up to the furry and body WWE slam him into the ground. Listen, maybe there's some backstory or context to this video that I could not find because I did look, and it's really not been reported on except for this one viral video. But I don't understand why the officers are behaving in this way. When you see, I actually watching all these ICE videos come out, you gain a new respect and appreciation for everyday police officers because they actually behave with so much restraint. In so many police videos, you see them cussing and they just calmly say, ma'am, we have asked you to disperse. Ma'am, you're being... And you gain this new appreciation for them when you watch some of these ICE officers just going Rambo on people, on American citizens. It's really, it's not okay. You should approach him and say, all right, put your hands behind your back. You're under arrest if he's being arrested for a reason. Because I think they were blocking traffic or something, which you can't do. You can arrest them, but you shouldn't just go up and body slam them into the ground. And the fact that he's wearing like a furry costume or whatever is basically irrelevant to the actual story besides the humor value of it, at least to me, because it's just so unserious and our country is so diabolically unserious in so many ways. But there is a broader pattern here I'm seeing with a lot of these viral videos where DHS and ICE officers, some of whom are long time on the force, but some of whom are new recruits under decreased training requirements under the Trump administration, are just behaving in really ham-fisted ways in their interactions with U.S. citizens and Americans, which isn't okay. Even if you support immigration enforcement, and listen, I don't support the sweeping mass deportation the Trump administration wants to do, but of course you got to arrest and deport criminals and dangerous people who are in our country illegally. I fully support that. But you still, as a law enforcement officer, are bound by the law and bound to treat people with respect for their rights and without excessive force and brutality. And I can acknowledge a couple things at once. One is which that the situation they're going into in Minneapolis with widespread revolt against them is a dangerous and heated situation. And a lot of these protesters are breaking the law and interfering and doing stuff they shouldn't be doing. But officers are still responsible for how they conduct themselves and for upholding the rights of the people they're sworn to protect. And a lot of them, based on these viral videos, are refusing to do so or choosing not to do so. And that's not okay. So I want to show you another video on this one. This is reporting about the video from CNN, but the video itself is not disputed, where a American citizen is arrested by ICE officers because he has an accent. Listen to this.
Why are you asking me for my paperwork? Because of your accent.
I still, you have an accent too.
Where were you born, sir?
Where were you born at?
Put your hands behind your back.
Ramon Monero was detained by U.S. Border Patrol agents outside his home in a Minneapolis suburb after an agent questioned whether he was a citizen because of his accent.
I'm from this country.
You know what, sir? Now talking to you, hearing that you have an accent, I have reason to believe that you are not born of this country.
So you just made an accent?
What country are you from?
According to Monero, agents took a photo of him and searched a system that indicated he's been a U.S. citizen since 2019. They also checked his U.S. passport card, which he keeps in his wallet, before letting him go. Monero, who was born in Mexico and obtained a U.S. passport in 2021, was detained in front of his 5-year-old daughter.
Well, she was shaking when I got in the home, and she's like, "Are you okay? That we're gonna take you? I don't want to lose you." And I'm like, "You're not gonna lose me." Even though I'm a citizen, still feel afraid because they don't care if you're a citizen or not. And especially because I know I have a really strong accent speaking English, I know I can be a target because that's who are they targeting just because our appearance and because of our accent.
CNN has contacted the Department of Homeland Security for comment on the incident and to ask if agents are allowed to temporarily detain people on the street with accents.
Sorry, but this is crazy. ICE should not be detaining U.S. citizens because they have an accent. Obviously, they need to go after and arrest and apprehend dangerous illegal immigrants or people who've committed crimes here. And even if you want to just find the day laborers at Home Depot and arrest them and find them out and deport them, we can debate that. I don't personally necessarily support that, but that's one thing. Going up to people on the street, hearing them have an accent and arresting them, even though they're citizens, that's crazy. I don't want to live in a papers, please society where an agent of the state can just come up to you and say, "Show me your paperwork now." And if you're not immediately forthcoming or you don't have proof of your citizenship on you and you sound a little funny, they can just detain you? I don't know, man. I think that's outrageous. That's really, really crazy to me. And I'll read you. It's also just kind of amateur hour at the Department of Homeland Security because the statement they put about this makes no sense. Once again, the media is lying for clicks and deceptively pushing clips to demonize our brave law enforcement. U.S. Border Patrol was conducting immigration enforcement operations in a public access parking lot when several agitators exited their homes and began yelling at law enforcement in Spanish. One agent, who is fluent in Spanish, recognized one individual's accent as being from Mexico. So you just confirmed the story that based on this person's accent, you decided they weren't a citizen and weren't from here and arrested them, even though it was a U.S. citizen that you later had to release. Anyway, more. Any claim from him or the media that agents racially profiled is categorically false. A person's immigration status makes them a target for enforcement, not their skin color, race, or ethnicity. Law enforcement use, quote, reasonable suspicion to make arrests as allowed under the Fourth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. The Supreme Court has already vindicated us on this question. There are a couple big problems with this statement. One is they're saying a person's immigration status makes them a target for enforcement, not their skin color, race, or ethnicity. How did you know this guy's immigration status? They didn't. All they knew was that he had an accent or spoke a different language. Yeah, that's profiling then. It's not like you were tipped off that he wasn't a citizen or that he had no papers or that you observed something that told you something about his immigration status. You just heard him speak and then deduced his ethnicity or that he may be Mexican and then demanded his papers. So I don't really see how they can claim that there's no profiling. You could argue the profiling is justified, maybe, but to tell us it's not happening seems far-fetched to me. And then most importantly, this is just amateur hour, when they say law enforcement uses, quote, reasonable suspicions to make arrests as allowed under the Fourth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. That is wrong. Legally, you need probable cause to arrest someone, which is a different standard than reasonable suspicion. So we have the Department of Homeland Security plainly misstating the law to justify controversial arrests. Even if you support an immigration crackdown, that's a big problem. And I'm sorry, but Kristi Noem is not covering herself in glory. She is, whether she's like, I hate how she cosplays as an ICE agent, even though she's not really doing it, and she's an administration official. So she like wears the costumes on TV and then goes back to her condo. Like she's not actually it's one thing if she's on a ride along or something else, but progressives call her ICE Barbie, and that's obviously kind of nasty and not really fair. But in another sense, she does do that. She does lean into the costume aesthetic of it in an obnoxious way. And then the social media accounts are just constantly getting fact checked and posting incorrect claims and having to delete posts. It's not okay, even if you support the immigration crackdown, and I don't necessarily, but we could have a debate about that. The lack of trust and responsibility and accuracy from the federal government and the overreach a lot of these ICE officials and immigration officials from other agencies are engaging in, to me, is indefensible. That's my take on it, honestly. But you guys will have to let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe if you aren't yet, hit the like button and all of that.